Adventures of Sonic, Episode 24, Tails in Charge. Oh, that's a promising title. Robotnik shows arrogance about his new invention wasting time. It paralyzes, oh worse, it turns people into stone. Oh, so a complete ripoff of Grounder's petrifying ray just one episode ago. And he doesn't even mention that. And Grounder isn't unhappy about Scratch getting frozen, I guess because he just assumed Robotnik would stupidly unzap him afterwards. Grounder asks how Sonic's gonna eat if he can't move.
How's Sonic gonna eat if he can't move?
Why was he programmed to say that? That's like sympathy for Sonic. He makes a world's largest chili dog billboard and plans to shoot Sonic with a boulder from his catapult, and then Scratch could shoot him with the ray. Out of nowhere, some bird lands on his boulder and makes Grounder go on top of it and get rolled into a boulder himself. The ray starts firing at Sonic, but it fails because it's too early in the episode. Robotnik lets Scratch try to get Sonic his way. Why trust him to be competent at this point? And since Robotnik will never melt him down, he just wastes space in the episode when he says that. Sonic isn't fooled by the all-you-can-eat chili dog sign when Tails is for some reason. Not being fooled because he was already fooled by a chili dog billboard, I guess. But he goes there anyways because he likes thrills. Sonic fools Grounder somehow with the disguise he shouldn't have, pretending to be a chili dog inspector who threatens to shut him down. He tells him to dump in hot chili, making it bubble. Why do these robots bow to authority other than Eggman? Shouldn't he just say, get lost? And then for some reason Grounder eats the chili dog when he's a robot and explodes, acting like a cat for no reason. Tails bothers going after his skateboard, which causes Sonic to get turned into stone because he had to go save him. Thanks, Tails. Tails wastes time being a complete idiot by bothering to talk to Sonic when he's petrified, and obviously can't talk to him, and telling him to get going. Tails puts his hands over his eyes sitting on the ground, getting a realistic reaction, gets thrown away by Scratch, and the robots start fighting over Sonic. Tails co-ops the machine and gets Grounder turned to stone. However, since Tails isn't allowed to be useful here, for no reason at all, him turning the wheel causes it to malfunction and Grounder's turned back to normal, because we had to have him for the rest of the episode. Tails gets Sonic on his skateboard, and Scratch tells Grounder not to shoot because if he hits Sonic with the ray, he'll unfreeze him. Still, that makes me angry that Tails was forced to bring him back to normal that quick from a bullshit malfunction, just because we have to have these idiots doing stuff the whole episode. Tails is worried about badniks in general and not just Scratch and Grounder. Aren't the badniks supposed to be the ones with the animals in them? And he rolls some logs downhill to send them away. It's nice to see Tails being useful, even if against these idiots. Eggman doesn't call Tails a freak and just a runt, because gutlessness. Tails goes into an alley with a dead end, opens a door bringing Sonic with him, and he feels sad with sad music playing because of Sonic's fate. Tails plans to go sneak into Robotnik's fortress, as I can imagine Sonic would have told him not to from having no faith in him. Scratch knocks on the door and furniture falls over in the room because of a tank with a fist on it slamming the building. Since his shirt falls on Tails, he decides to disguise himself, and the tank rams into something, flinging the robots ahead. Tails fools the robots with the disguise somehow. But because he's not allowed to be useful, Scratch picks him up, figuring out he has two tails. Fortunately, Tails escapes them because they start bickering. The tension's a lot higher with Tails as the protagonist because he gets kidnapped so often. It's a shame Tails' acting is so horrible because it makes it harder to enjoy him being in the limelight. Tails flies just above the robots, says no one calls him a pipsqueak and gets away with it, and they somehow don't hear him. He flies around above them to spy on them, and pulls a rope to tie around some pipes, activates pipes to send water out of them, and lifts up sandbags. He also makes a trap involving a spring and slopes. This shows his intelligence because, it's good that he makes the traps out of materials that were already there, so it makes sense, and he's showing his intelligence by being able to make such traps. But still, why were those materials there? Maybe they're there because they're where Scratch gets his trap materials. Tails pretends to get fooled by the mousetrap, and really bad acting that shouldn't have fooled the robots, and then uses a broom to get Scratch hurt by it, instead stealing the chili dog. Why can't half the episodes be like this? It feels more like a victory because of Tails. Tails gets Grounder to run into a seesaw and flings him away because he drops a sandbag on it. He uses the rope to trip Scratch and make him land on the seesaw. Tails drops sandbags to send them into a slide and cuts it, damaging them because of their fall. How are they still able to do stuff after this? Tails says they fell for it and they're gonna bring the paralyzing right here. The robots get tricked into bringing Sonic back to normal, so he makes them dizzy running around them, and then the stopper zapper stops itself. Grounder hits it with his hammers, and it blows up on him, and he lands on Robotnik. These guys really are indestructible. Sure, they fall apart, but the brain isn't destroyed. They can still be rebuilt. Tails pulls a lever to grab them with a construction crane and drops them into cement that they start coughing in. And the sprinkler system traps them in quick-drying cement. Okay, this should have taken them down for good. How did they ever escape from this? We never see any other robots around them. This could have been the finale just fine. Without Sonic ever thanking Tails for everything he did, and without Tails telling Sonic all about it. The Sonic Says message is that you don't open the door to strangers. What does that have to do with the episode at all? Usually it's at least tangentially related to it. This episode actually gave Tails some time to be useful on his own for once because Sonic was frozen as a statue. Giving off the message that the only way Tails can be as competent as Sonic is and get all the limelight on him is if Sonic's out of the way. Where have I heard this before? It was great to see him triumph over the robots so much, even if they were stupid robots and his terrible acting was annoying. That's really it. I don't have any major complaints really. But what do you want to bet that this is another Antoine in the hot air balloon situation where the vast majority of the times he's useful and necessary in the show are constrained to one story? This should really be the start of a trend in the show. Instead, Sonic hogs all the competence.